那现在在我们画面上的呢，是两位阿姆斯特丹大学这个财务金融课程的课程负责人哈、他们今天晚上现在就会给大家进行一个很完整的一个课程介绍。那结束之后呢，我们剩下来的时间可以让大家提问。那提问的方式呢，各位当然欢迎可以开麦克风。那如果你不想要开麦克风的话，你可以在聊天室打下你的问题。那如果参加的同学觉得说打问题想要用中文问的话，也没有关系，那你就打中文，我会把你的中文用英文来问他们两位。OK，好，那我现在就是要跟我两位同事讲说他们可以开始了。
Okay. Well, thank you. I hope you said some lovely things about us or the program, but we'll never know. Thank you. My name is Madeleine. Me is my colleague Julia. I'm the recruitment manager, and Julia is the admissions manager for the MIF and Amsterdam Business School. First of all, thank you for your time. I have a presentation. I'm gonna quickly go over it because it's a Friday evening for you, and I always prefer to give basic information and then answer questions because then people get the information they want to hear. So I'm here to talk about the Executive Master in International Finance. In short, we call it MIF or the MIF. We offer this 1-year full-time master program in 2 different tracks, the finance and technology track and the general track. The general track is focused on managing finances, managing cash flows, where the finance and technology track is more aimed towards the IT side of finance. If you're still in doubt which track you want to choose, don't worry, you only have to choose this before the start of the program. And if you need advice, Julie and I would always be happy to provide that for you. We're going to start with the team. This is the MIF team. Jens Martin is our program director. He also teaches M&A. Shireen and Marit are your help throughout the program. Me and Julia are here to help throughout the application process. And Stephanie, Connie, and Valerie are our career and alumni department, which I'll tell you a bit more about later on. This is the MIF program in short. It's a postgraduate program. We've been doing this for since 1996. As of 2019, we added the fintech track, relatively new and relatively unique ook in its content. We offer this program in a full-time and a part-time version. Part-time students are already living in the Netherlands because we cannot apply for visa for part-time students. But I am mentioning it because if you're going to start the MIF in the full-time version, you'll be in a class with combined with part-time students as well. So that has some network purposes. All classes are in the evening. They start at 6:30 and end at approximately 10. Partially because of the combination with the part-time students, but also we found it that our students, as of January, usually people will start to apply for jobs, and having evening classes will allow you to accept a job during the program already. It's unique. We offer individual coaching and career service, which I'll tell you a bit later, more on later on. And there's an international study trip to include it in the program. We're triple accreditation. We have triple accreditation and also the Dutch MSc accreditation. We have a great network of alumni, so we always hope and usually works out as well to keep in touch with our alumni network. If we have events, we usually invite our alumni as well. Our program partners are CFA and Kaya, which are financial certificates, and Holland Fintechs, which is an organization that keeps track of all fintech companies in the Netherlands. We're highly ranked in satisfaction of our students. 2021, we were number 3. Last year, unfortunately, they did not publish the ranking, but hopefully this year again. I don't know what to all explain to you, but if anyone has any questions, feel free to interrupt me or ask them by chat, because Julia can answer questions as well. We have quite the international faculty. Here you see some of the guest lectures or universities our guest lectures come from. If you want more detailed information about this, we can send you a study program on which courses they give. Here you see the differences between the finance and technology track and the general track. The general track have 9 core courses and 2 electives, so that means that you can customize your program a bit. Both tracks have to do the ethical part and the personal development program. Since we're executive education, we aim to develop your soft skills as well. And obviously both tracks have to close their masters with a thesis. The finance and technology is a bit less customizable, but you do have the option to add 2 classes to your curriculum. Not mandatory, but for instance, we have sustainable finance and impact investment elective, and we've noticed that a lot of students take this as an optional class. You'll find some more about the curriculum here, the separate courses. After this presentation, I'm going to ask, or I'm going to email myself or ask Dual to send this presentation to you as well, so you can go over it in your own time. If you have any questions about this content, we'd be happy to answer any questions about this. As you can see, the general track and its 9 core courses and elective courses, so you can customize your track. And this is the content of the finance and technology track. About the thesis, so everyone that is done with their studies has to you wrap your studies up with a thesis. You'll start this process in January. You can either pick a topic yourself, or you can ask your student counselor to help you pick a topic. You have sessions to guide this and a personal supervisor for your thesis. Again, this is a short overview of the full-time. It's 12 months, 3 to 4 classes per week in the evening. We have a whole separate building, a new building for the MIF students. Actually, the executive education students, so that means that all students who already have working experience are in the same building, which is nice for networking purposes as well. The international study trip, one of the highlights of the program. The topic is finance in emerging markets, and the trip is a 5-day trip to South Africa. The aim of this study trip is that finance does not have one approach. Every market has its different approach to the topic of finance. And South Africa has a development market, so there's a lot to learn from there. We always invite startups, local startups, to interact with our students. We're visiting companies, and the students learn all about how development markets approach the topic of finance. It's in cooperation with the University of Cape Town. And the ticket and your hotel stay is included in the tuition fee. The only thing that adds is for your own expenses is some meals. And most students aim to stay longer. The advantage of this trip is always in the last week of January. So from Christmas break until January, you don't have any classes. So a lot of students make use of this opportunity to explore South Africa a bit more. That does not affect your reimbursement of your plane ticket. Here's a slide about our career department. We have certified coaches that work for us. They do workshops on, for instance, personal branding. They help you with your CV. They check your cover letter if you wish that. And they do mock interviews with you to prepare you for any interviews you'll have in the Netherlands. They're also in charge of our alumni network, so we try to connect our students as much as we can to the alumni we have. We do this through workshops. So, for instance, we had an AI workshop a couple of weeks ago where we invite our students and alumni. But we also have job fairs where companies come to the universities to speed date with our students. Bit more information about the student profile. 81% is international. The full-time program is usually 100% international, but you'll be with Dutchies in class because some part-time students are Dutch. Throughout the years, we've had over 30 nationalities in our group from all over the world. This is the average on the MIF student profile. The average age is 32, 33, and the average years of working experience 8 to 9. The minimum years of working experience you need is 2. It ranges from students being 23 with 2 years of working experience to students being 45, 46 with 20 years of working experience. The gender diversion, something that we're working on. If you have a finance background, you probably know that usually more males than females, but hopefully we'll fix that in the future. The average GMAT is 670 and 49% has a bachelor's, 34% has a master's degree, and 70% of our students hold an MBA degree. Now here you can find some industry experience from our students. It will probably not surprise you that most students have a finance background. But as you can see, we also have students from different sectors. We aim to keep it that way. So we have the idea that you learn from your peers as well. And people with different cultures, different backgrounds, they have different approaches, different ideas to the projects you have to work in throughout the year. So we think that's something you can only learn from. If you don't have a finance background, we have a pre-course training that will prepare you for finance that we teach, which is a self-study that you have to complete before the program starts. If you have any questions about your eligibility, feel free to send us your resume so we can evaluate that. And maybe Julia can already type our email address in there, so you can contact us whenever you'd like. You can find more information about the career profile here. A lot of bankings. We still see a trend that a lot of students are interested in large companies, Deloitte, KPMG, ING, of course, and a small shift to people that really want to work in finance and technology, more towards startups as well. Here you can find the positions our MIF students end up in. It differs for everyone. It's really hard to give one general advice on this, because where you end up in obviously depends on what you're aiming for, what your working background is. If you don't have a finance background, you'll probably start in a different position than when you already have a lot of finance experience. But again, after we've sent you the presentation, you can go over it at ease. Admissions process, Julia, do you want to take over?
Yes, I would like to take over for the admissions process. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the process and how everything works as far as admissions. Please feel free to ask any questions that you have by putting them in the chat or just putting your microphone on. Yeah, so to begin, first you would need a bachelor's degree from a research university to start. And on top of that, you would need at least 2 years of relevant postgraduate work experience. And if you would like to check your profile, please contact us also at the email address that I dropped in the chat. For the English language proficiency, this is also something that we ask. So this would be a TOEFL exam or an IELTS test. But we also give a waiver if you have studied in English or if you have worked in an English-speaking environment for more than 2 years. Sorry, or if you are a native speaker, of course. As far as the analytical capability, we have a GMAT requirement or an analytical capability requirement, and you could either do the GMAT or our in-house LTP assessment. And the main difference between these tests is the amount of time that you have to study for. So the GMAT test is, maybe you're familiar with it, it's a test where you really have to study for, and it takes about 100 hours on average to prepare for the test. And the LTP assessment takes about 20 hours in total. Now, there is an upside of taking the GMAT, of course. So you could get a financial benefit, for example, if you have a high GMAT score. But we do see that people choose the LTP assessment more because it takes less time preparing for it. Then as far as the application, so what we need from you would be some basic information, of course, a copy of your degree and transcript, also 2 references, work-related, by the way. And that could be somebody from your current work or previous work. That's fine from our side. Yeah, and after the application, the admissions board will review your application. Then would be the next step, and that would be the possible LCP assessment, for example, and the admissions interview. The admissions interview is with Madeleine, by the way. After the interview, you know if you're accepted into the program, and you would receive the possible admissions letter also. I would say the whole process from start to finish, so from submitting your application to that possible admissions letter, takes about a month, but it also depends on your schedule. It could go quicker than that. So once you're accepted into the program, we do need a basic Python certificate before starting in September. And this is not something that, or this is something that could be obtained pretty easily, I would say. So we offer a course. It's free of charge, and in the course, it takes about 20 or 30 hours to obtain that basic Python certificate. We also have a MIF pre-course training, and that is for people with maybe not a very extensive financial background. And the pre-course is really designed for you to get up to speed with these financial topics. Yeah. Let me see. Then in the next slide.
Working on it, sorry.
Okay, great. So yeah, the deadlines for international students is June 30th, or maybe a little bit before, Madeleine?
Yeah, it has to be wrapped up before June 30. So submitting your application will be May, last day of May.
Yeah, I would say this deadline, June 30th, is more in overall, but just to be safe also with the visa process, maybe good to know we take care of the visa process. So once you're accepted into the program, when you have that admissions letter, we take care of that, so you don't need to do that yourself. Please submit an application before June 1st, just to make sure everything is going correctly with that visa part in particular. Something that we also have, that's not very important, sorry. The HBO, there's a HBO deadline in the previous slide, but I don't think that's really applicable for you guys. Then on to my next slide, and this is not the least important, the fee structure. So the full tuition fee, both for part-time and full-time, is 33,500 euros. Now we do have some funding options to make it a little bit more feasible. So if you hold a CFA certificate, for example, as well as a CAIA certificate, then you receive a 3,000 euro discount. If you're a UVA alumni, 10%, I don't think that's really applicable for you guys. And then the GMAT-based waiver that I just mentioned earlier, if you have a certain GMAT score, you could receive a discount between 3,000 and 12,000 euros. And please let us know if you have a GMAT score or if you're planning to take this, because then we can send you the GMAT breakdown as well. Maybe, Madeleine, also good to mention for the full-time candidates about Prodigy Finance. So Prodigy Finance is an organization that we work with, and they're specialized in student loans. So they're also on our website for you to take a look at the loan options. Could be interesting. Yeah, then on to our last slide. Do you guys have any questions about the admissions process or the program in general?
Okay, I can ask a few questions because I'm also listening to your presentation, and I discovered some very interesting features. My first question is about the class schedule. And I saw, maybe I misunderstood, I don't know if I understand it correctly. The class schedule starts from something like 6 p.m. until 10 p.m. Right. Yeah. So my question is that if I only have let's say classes after 6 p.m., does that mean when I join this financial program, the MIF program, that means I still have some time during the daytime, so maybe I can apply for an internship. So I can do an internship and also attending, let's say, evening classes at at the same time. So I don't know if this is possible.
Yeah, correct. So had it next to it being a network decision for our full-time students to be in the same class as the part-time students. It's also an option for, next to preparing for your classwork and working on your project, of course. It's definitely an option to already start an internships or even start working during the program. So working less than 40 hours is quite common in the Netherlands already. So if students, for instance, as of January, we usually advise everyone start looking for a job, start learning in which direction you want to go. and start applying for jobs, because even though we give guidance and 80 to 90% has a job within 3 months, you're still going to have to put in the work. But for instance, if you find something earlier than the program ends, it also allows you to already start working, or even start working part-time, so 2 to 3 days, and extend it if you wish once you completed the program.
Okay, that sounds actually pretty exciting. I think, you know, most of our students from Taiwan would really like to find an internship. And usually, you know, for the more general MSc programs, because of the class schedule or something like that, usually it's very difficult for them to do an internship at the same time. But it looks like your program offers a fantastic opportunity.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay, I also have another program, another question, because some, you know, Taiwanese students are very shy. So let me ask some questions on behalf of them.
Of course.
One of the students asked me about, you know, let's say the track, or we can say specialization. And some students, you know, they would like to, let's say, further specialize themselves in a certain area. For instance, you have 2 tracks, the general track. The other one is a technology track. And so within your technology track, I can see that, you know, there are some courses which are related to blockchains, right?
Yeah, let me scroll back to the... Yeah, continue talking, or it's
this long list. You know, if you look at this slide, you can see that blockchain and also applied blockchain. So there are a few courses related to this. So that his question is, you know, if he's really interested in blockchain and he would like to further specialize himself in this area. So apart from, you know, the technology track, what else can he do to further specialize himself during the program?
You mean with what's in this curriculum, or extracurricular activities, or
It can be, you know, let's say within the curriculum, you know, some other electives you can take, or it can be, you know, there's additional courses, or it can be something else. You know, because normally, you know, this program covers quite a lot of topics.
Yeah.
But you always, you know, you will always encounter some, let's say, candidates who would really like to specialize themselves, you know, into certain area. So they don't mind to study, you know, let's say more topics, but they also hope during this program they can finally, you know, let's say specialize themselves a little bit more on maybe just, you know, 1 or 2 topics. And in this case, in the case of a blockchain, is it possible, you know, during the program to take, you know, let's say extra courses, especially your program starts from you know, let's say the schedule is in the evening. So I'm not sure, you know, for those kind of students, if they can pay extra or they can do extra in order to achieve that.
Yeah, so some courses at the regular master, so UvA, the University of Amsterdam, has a lot of various programs. There is a reduced rate for some programs if our executive program students want to attend or audit those classes. Doesn't happen very often, I must say. But my advice is, so we handle an open door policy. That means that the professors are very approachable. So definitely, if there's something that you want to invest time and knowledge in, definitely address the professor even before the course starts, that this is something that you were really looking forward to, and that the professor can advise you on what to do in what would add to your resume or the curriculum. And what I think the professor also does, and what happens quite often in the Netherlands, is that there are workshops or guest speakers related to these topics. We try to be modern and move with the market. For instance, we also have an MBA in AI, which is relatively new, which we also organize network events with, so it might be good to know as well. But networking is, if this is something that you really want to develop further, then my primary advice is networking with the professor, with your fellow students, and at events that are organized in the Netherlands.
Okay, thank you.
Maybe.
Does it?
Oh, sorry, not to interrupt, but maybe also good to add on is that you are also able to choose 2 extra electives on top of the core curriculum. So the core curriculum you have, and then you're able to choose 2 different courses on top of what you already have.
Okay, we have a participant who is raising her hand.
Yeah.
Jenny. Jenny, 你可以说了。
Hello. I think you're
Hello.
muted. Oh, hi.
你要打开你的麦克风 ，Jenny。
Oh.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
I can hear you now.
Yes. Hello. So I do have a question about the application requirement. So there's like GMAT and LTP, right? And like we can submit like either score to apply. That's what I understand. But I do have a question about LTP, because there's for GMAT you do have a request score for GMAT, but you didn't show any score for LTP. So I'm kind of curious about, is there any the minimum score you have to pass, or and also if there's any sample for us to study for this test?
Yeah,
Yeah.
good question. So in basics, the LTP test contains of 2 different parts. So there's a soft skill part, which every student has to take prior to the interview. It tells us a bit more about your work styles and your motives, and will also give the students the tools to start their personal development process in the program. And there's the IQ part, which is the substitute for the GMAT. So all students have to take the soft skill test. If you already have a master's degree or GMAT, you don't have to take the IQ part. The preparation time is approximately 20 hours, as Julia already mentioned. And it contains of 3 different topics: abstract reasoning, numerical insight, and verbal. All of these 3 subjects have a score range from 1 to 5, and at 2.2 you're proven at a master level. So all 3 scores combined should be 2.2 or higher, where might not come as a surprise, but the numerical part is the part I look at the most for the MIF. Does this answer your question?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah? Okay, good.
I do have another question. Like,
Yeah, go ahead.
is there any scholarship program like we can apply for? Like, does the school or university in general do have any scholarship system?
No, yeah, we do have the GMAT waivers. Might be good for you to know is that you can also go through the entire application process without the GMAT and submit a GMAT later. If it's submitted before August 31st, I can still adjust your tuition fee with the amount you're granted, depending on your score. But other scholarships than the Kaya CFA and the GMAT, there's no national scholarships for international students, unfortunately.
Thank you. And I also saw like for GMAT pass waiver, it's a range of the amount of the price, right? Is it based on like the school of your GMAT?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
okay.
if you
I got it.
yeah, okay. I think as of 6:30 you have 3,000 euro scholarship, and then it systematically goes up until 12,000 if you score 740 or higher.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there? Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Dual.
Oh, yeah. I hope that you can also briefly talk about your housing assistance, because your program apparently is pretty unique. And last time you mentioned about housing assistance. So
yes,
it can be something that our participants are very interested to know.
Yeah, so we have quite the overheated housing market in the Netherlands. So we offer our students on a first come first served basis housing. So we have together with another international program a certain number of houses we can assign to our students. The commute to the university is by bike, approximately 15 to 20 minutes. And it's a single apartment. So you can either live by yourself with your own kitchen and your own bathroom, or we have the option that you bring your partner, but also with a kitchen and a bathroom. Unfortunately, we don't house families with kids. But throughout your study, it's on a first come first served basis. So at the moment, we still have some available, but definitely don't wait until the end of May to submit your application if you want to be sure of a house. The only thing you have to do to put yourself on the list is apply. If you're accepted, return your contract as soon as possible. Fill in a form, and then in June you'll get a notification on what your new address will be.
Okay, thank you. I think we have another question from Jenny. Jenny, please unmute. Okay.
So I do have another question. Is like, are we able to apply deferred admission? Like, for example, I got the admission later, but I wanted to defer to the next year.
Yeah.
It is possible.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. So 1 year. So you can defer your application. Well, in basics, you're still accepted if you want to defer 2 years, which is not a very common situation. But your financial benefits are valid for 1 year.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah, so if we increase the tuition fee, for instance, that will not be applicable if you've deferred.
Yeah, sure, understood. Thank you.
Good.
Okay, I do have a final question. It's about let's say what kind of assistance or activities or assistance you would organize, or that's something for for the class, which means career developments. That's something I would like to know.
What events?
What I mean is that because this program is very much career-driven program, and so for the students who join this program, and especially for international students coming from the other countries, and many of them would like to to find a job in the Netherlands, and so during this program, I noticed that on one of your slides, you mentioned that there's a kind of speed dating activities, etc. So I'm just wondering, what kind of, career service that the students can get, especially from this program, in order, to prepare, for their job hunting in the Netherlands.
Yeah. So next to the personal guidance, so the one-on-one, every full-time student gets 2 invitations at minimum to schedule a one-on-one conversation with our career counselor. More is available upon request, so they're very approachable as well. And if you need help, they'd be happy to help. As far as the general events we organize, so I think every month, every 6 weeks, there's something organized that our students can attend. And this can either be end of block drinks or just drinks or a barbecue with MBA students, but also as mentioned, an AI workshop or how AI affects finance. But for the MIF students' careers especially, so last week we had a speed dating event, which means that I think there were 12 to 14 companies, and you have to consider that our class contains approximately 30 students, where the part-time students already have a job, but they come as well because they think it's fun. But we have companies there with their recruiters, and we organize a speed date session, so everyone has approximately 5 minutes to speak to the companies they wish to speak to. And then they move around and they network, and the recruiters tell them what type of persons they're looking for, what kind of backgrounds, and see if it's a mutual match.
Okay, thank you very much. I also see all these activities and events you organize, to boost the career developments of the students are pretty good.
Yeah, and not only that, so we also want to, next to the practical approach it has, there's always bitterballen, which you probably know, Dual, but which is our Dutch snack.
Yes.
So we always have snacks. Yeah, you have to try them once you're here. But there's always snacks, there's always drinks, there's always people after the official event going into town with each other, interacting with staff as well. So not me, I'm old, but Julia, yes. But it's always a very next to useful event. It's also you also have to consider it to have a social approach, because we also want to make your year fun.
Yeah, as well as the international study trip, that's also a time where students really bond with each other, as well as visiting companies. So more practical side of the trip as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, since we don't have any further questions from the chat room, I'm just wondering if you have any, let's say, extra information which you would like to, let's say, offer to the participants tonight.
You mean about moving forward with what to do now?
Yeah, any information. Any information.
Okay. So if you would like to, I don't know, Dual, we have a list of you. Shall we email everyone separately, or do you have a system where you do that?
Oh, you can you can actually,
okay.
Approach each let's say register students, no problem.
Okay. Yeah, so what we'll do now is we will email you how to submit your CV for evaluation. I already saw 2 CVs which I already responded to, but we will send you the presentation so you can go over it more privately, and how to assess your CV. That's usually the first step of the application process. Once you've done that, we will send you a link that if you want to move forward with your application, you can submit that online. Please do so. And if you have any personal questions, or if you'd like to schedule a follow-up call, Julia and I are always happy to assist. Every situation is different, and everyone has a different background, of course, different questions. So we are happy to help on a personal basis as well.
Okay, thank you very much. I'd like to thank you and Julia once again for your excellent contribution this Friday afternoon. And I would also like to wish both of you a great weekend in the Netherlands. Especially, I heard the temperature is so good right now.
Yes, it's okay-ish. Yeah.
It's good for the Netherlands. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, thank you very much. So I
thank
hope
you
that,
everyone for
thank you.
Yeah, for your participation.
Okay, so hope to see you soon again next time.
Yes, thank you, Dual.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.